The test is going to be multiple choice, so you will have some choices to look at. Okay. All right, so we're going to be looking at that review. There were, I think there's like 15, 16 questions on the test. Okay. All right, on the first one it says the graph of y equals x squared is shifted 5 units up, actually 5 units to the right. No, shifts up 5 units and right 3 units. What's the equation of the new graph? All right, so this is our quadratic. Now, when we're working inside the parentheses is going to move the graph sideways. It's going to move it left and right. In this case, I want to move it to the right 3 units. So the question is, do I add 3 or subtract 3 in order to move it to the right? Subtract 3. Now, make sure your square is going on the outside of the parentheses. The 5, we want to move up 5 units. So do I add or subtract 5 from this function here? You add 5. So the equation I'm looking for is y equals the x minus 3 squared plus 5. That's what I want to see on the test. Like I said, it will be multiple choice tomorrow, so you'll have some choices to look at. Number 2, you're asked to find the inverse of y equals 3x minus 4. Inverse is when we switch the x and the y. So that y now becomes x, and the x becomes the y. Now don't stop there, because you still have to solve for the y. What's the new equation? So we'll start by adding 4. So we got x plus 4 equals 3y. And then from here we can go ahead and divide by 3. Of course, there's a 1 in front of that x, so now we've got 1/3 x plus 4/3 equals y. So this right here would be the inverse of this one up here. And we found that by switching the x and the y. Moving on to number 3, it says that the school bank collects $3,423 for 480 tickets. The adult tickets are $8, the student tickets are $5, and we want to know how many adult tickets were sold. So we're going to set up a system here. We know that 480 tickets were sold, so if I add up the adult tickets and the student tickets, they should equal 480. I also know that they were selling the adult tickets for $8 a piece, the student tickets for $5 a piece, and they made a total of $3,423. So there's your system. Now at this point you can go either route. You can go substitution, elimination, graphing, matrix. Now because it's set up in the standard form, for me I'd probably choose the matrix. It's a lot faster and easier. Alright, so anybody get that answer for me? What is the number of adult tickets here? 300 and what? 40 what? That's how many adult tickets are. Okay, moving on, number 4. Consider y equals the absolute value of x and y equals the absolute value of x minus h plus k. How does changing the h and the k affect the parent function? So let's start with h. It's inside the brackets. So what is it going to do when we subtract from the x? What? Moves it to the right. So h is going to move the graph to the right. Of course, if that was a plus h, then it would move it to the left. How about the k? What is the k going to do to the graph? Move it up. It's going to move the graph up. So that's what the h and k does to our absolute value. By the way, anybody know what the shape of that absolute value is? V. Remember, that is our V shape. Number 5, solve the system. Now again, you can use any method you want. For me, I like matrix. It's faster and easier. But before I can do that, I've got to get everything in standard form. So for that first one there, in order to get it into standard form, I move the 2y over to the left-hand side, and I do that with subtraction. So there it is in standard form. Do the same thing with the second equation. Move that negative 5x to the other side, giving us 5x minus 6y equals 7. There it is in standard form. From here, I go ahead and use my matrix button to get my solution. So, what was the solution when you put that in your matrix? 11, 8. 11 is the x, 8 is the y. So that's the order pair that I'm looking for. Again, guys, on the test, you will have multiple choice. So you would find the one that has the choice 11, 8. Number 6 says for us to find the number such that 20 plus 5 times the number is no more than 450. So we've got 20 plus 5 times the number, so that would be 5x. It says here that it's no more than 450. So what inequality symbol am I going to use here? Less than. No more than. Notice there is no equal sign. It's just the less than. All right, so this is the inequality that we're working with. We're going to solve for x. So I'm going to start by subtracting 20. So 450 minus 20. 20 was 430. Then we can divide by 5. And 430 divided by 5 is 86. Therefore, anything less than 86 would be a solution. And again, you'll have a choice, 4 choices to go off. Number 7, the sum of 3 numbers, that should be is 49. So I'm going to let the first number be x, the second number be y, the third number be z. When I add all those together, they should equal 49. It says that the first number, which we're calling x, the first number is, meaning equal, less than, 11 less than the second. 11 less than the second. So whatever the second one is, which is y for us, we're going to take away 11 from that. 11 less than the second number. The third number, which we're calling z, the third number is going to be 6 more than twice the first number. So if I multiply the first number times 2 and add 6 more, that would give me the third number. The question was, what is the largest number? So what we have here is a system. I want to solve this using that matrix button. So what I'm going to do is get everything in standard form so that I can put this in the matrix. I'm going to get this one right here in standard form. So I'm going to move the y over. So now it's a negative y. Notice in that second equation there is no z, but we got to account for it. So we're going to put in a 0z. And of course we still got that negative 11. Over here on that bottom equation, same idea. Move the 2x over. Notice there's no y, so we'll put a 0 in for that one. We got the z, and we also got the 6 there. Now we got that thing in standard form. Now it's just a matter of putting that in our calculator and doing that in matrix. Now for this particular matrix, you would need a 3 by 4 matrix. That way you had enough room to put all the numbers in. All right, so when you do that, you're going to get 3 numbers, the x, the y, and the z. Of course, you don't need all 3 numbers. What we need is the largest of the 3 numbers. So, what was the largest of those 3 numbers? Anybody get it? What was the largest of the 3 numbers? 22. So 22 would have been the largest number. Now be careful on the test, because the test might ask you what's the smallest number. So just be real careful with that. But again, you will have some choices to go off. Number 8, this is one that you had some questions about. Which of the following equations is inconsistent with 2x minus 2y equals 12? Inconsistent, meaning no solution. And the only way we have no solution is when you have parallel lines. Now, on the test, you'll have some choices. But for us, let's go ahead and take this equation and get it into slope-intercept form. All right, so I'm going to move my 6x over. Then I'm going to divide by negative 2. Negative 6 divided by negative 2 would give me a positive 3. 12 divided by negative 2 would give me a negative 6. Now, I want one that's going to be no solution. I want one that's parallel. So pretty much any equation that has the same slope but a different y-intercept would end up giving us parallel lines. So this would be just one example. However, there's many, many, many others. This 5 right here could be any number other than a negative 6. What would happen if it was negative 6 also? It wouldn't be no solution. Which one would it be? Coincide. That would be an example of coinciding lines. All right, let's take a look at the next one. Number 9, it says if we have the order pair 4, 0 as a unique solution to the system of linear equations, then the graph of the system would show what? What is it going to look like? What kind of lines are we going to have if we have a unique solution? Intersect. The lines would be intersect. That's what we would see on number 9. Number 10, it says here, what is the system of inequalities that describes this graph? So we did one of these the other day. Let's start with the red one. I want to write the inequality that matches that red graph. So, first thing I need to decide is what kind of inequality symbol am I going to need? The less than or the greater than? What do you think? Which one? Less than? Sure. We're looking at the red one here. It's shaded to the top. And because it's shaded to the top, it should be greater than. How about an equal sign? Do I need one of those? No. That's a dotted line, so I don't need the equal sign. So I need 2 more things. I need to know what the slope is, and I also need to know what the y-intercept is. If I look at this red one right here, the y-intercept is down here. And what is that y-intercept? -5. Anybody figure out what the slope was? 5/2. That was the slope. Positive 5/2. So that is the red graph. Now I need the inequality for the second. Again, if we look at the second one, the blue one here, notice how it's shaded underneath the line. And because it's underneath the line, we're going to use the less than. It's another dotted line, so don't worry about an equal sign. What I need now is the slope and the y-intercept. I'm looking right here at the y-intercept. It is a +4. What about the slope on this one? Negative what? Negative x, or -1x. Okay, either way is fine. All right, so there is our system of inequalities. If I graph those two, this is what I would see. That's number 10. Number 11, we kind of did one like this already. Find all the numbers such that 19 plus 4 times a number is no more than, so that's that less than symbol again, no more than 450. Just like I did earlier, I'm going to solve for x. I'm going to subtract 19. What did y'all get when you subtracted 19? 450 minus 19 is what? 431. Divide that 431 by 4, and I think it came out to be a decimal, right? What was 431 divided by 4? Say that again. 177.107. 107.75. There we go. And there we have it. And of course, like I said, on the test, it will be multiple choice. Number 12, what does the quadratic parent function look like? What does it look like? A U shape. Now remember, we're talking about the parent function, and the parent function goes right through the origin. So this is what the quadratic parent function looks like.
Are we going to draw that too?
And remember, it's going to be a multiple choice, so you'll have the graphs to look at. Next one here, what does the linear parent function look like? Here's the graph. The linear parent function obviously is a line, but it goes right through the origin. Okay, so this would be the linear parent function. But again, you'll have multiple choice to go off. Oh, I just noticed that. It would be function. And the last one here, number 14, says here, consider the quadratic y equals x squared and y equals x plus h squared. How does changing the h affect the parent function? So that's kind of like what we did over there. The h. What is the h going to do to the graph? It's going to move to the left in this particular case because it says a plus. However, if it was a minus, we would move to the right. All right, so that's what the test is going to pretty much look like. It'll be our last test grade of the 6 weeks. So make sure you study.